No matter what you think about Byton, whether you're as excited as I am or still a little bit cautious because of this car will be made in China, everybody is really kind of taken back and surprised by the fact that this full-sized all-electric SUV with a very decent range, almost at 300 miles, is going to come at the price of about $45,000 here, and people are just kind of wondering how. How is it possible? It's about $10,000 to $20,000 cheaper than any other all-electric SUV that's on the market right now or is planning on being on the market in the next couple of years. And we do know partially the answer to that. Obviously, they're going to be making it in China and it's cheaper. But the second part about like, how are you going to avoid all these tariffs? I mean, there's a tariff war going on right now. Well, Biden figured that out. Biden figured out I think, a pretty genius way of going around the tariffs and hopefully still bringing this car at $45,000 American dollars to North America. Now, there's a little bit of drama that's involved within the same topic, and it comes from the former Byton CEO and the current Faraday Future CEO. I'm going to tell you all about that in just wait. I'll tell you everything about it right now.
Taking over the world, electrifying the world,
Welcome to E4Electric, your #1 source of unbiased electric car news. If this is your first time here, go ahead and click on that subscribe button down there so you don't miss anything moving forward. All right, as you know, Byton just unveiled its final design at the Frankfurt Auto Show, and I was there hanging out with the car. There are a couple of videos that I already put out there about it, and the great thing about it, it's pretty much the same as their concept car. How often do you get to actually say that? Now they're also finishing up their factory. As a matter of fact, they are going to be going in production in the next couple of months. Now they are delaying the deliveries by a few months. Now, not gonna lie, as a reservation holder, I'm a little bit annoyed by that, but I know because they've had some issues getting their latest round of financing, the C round, because the venture capital market is not really that great right now for electric car manufacturers in China. But nevertheless, they're just about to close one, and there is a caveat there as well. It kind of goes along with the news I'm just about to tell you. Everything seems to be ready to go. But again, the pricing is something that I addressed with their CEO, Daniel Kirchert, at the Frankfurt Auto Show. And here's what he had to say just a couple of weeks ago.
You guys are targeting $45,000 US in North America. A lot of people have doubted this because of the tariff war that's going on between an American administration and China and so forth. First of all, tell me, is this going to affect the price? And if so, what are your target prices for Europe and the North America right now?
Yeah, so the target price for Europe is also an entry price at 45,000 euro. And we stick with the commitment for the US market, no matter what happens on the tariffs. But of course, if the current status quo, where we have tariffs in place for cars from China coming to the US around 30%, that wouldn't allow us to offer the car at this price.
All right, so as you can see, his only concern really is the issue with tariffs. By the way, that guy's like 7 feet. I can barely fit in the frame every time I interviewed him. But anyway, that was his concern. That was everyone's concern. But no longer. They just figured it out. So a couple of days ago, they have signed an agreement. Hey, remember this guy? They just signed an agreement with South Korean company called Myeongshing, and it's a subsidiary of the parts maker MS Autotech. And so there's two parts. One, they're gonna jump like as the door closing on their C round, so they're gonna be one of the investors, which is great. This is outside of China investor. I'm going to talk about it in just 1 second, but also what's going to happen is it looks like the cars that are going to be the m-byte cars that are going to be exported to the United States at the very least, and maybe even Europe, are going to be made in South Korea at their facility, which they just bought back in June from GM. So they have this factory that wasn't really doing anything that they got, and this is where these cars are going to be put together. Now, this is very interesting development. Now, I'm not quite sure if they actually still going to make parts in the Chinese Nanjing factory and then assemble it there, or going to put the entire line there as well to produce the cars for the United States, Canada, and so forth. But I gotta say, not only they getting the more money into their C round, they're getting the strategic partner that's going to be, you know, helping them with sales, but most importantly, avoid tariffs. Don't forget, South Korea and the United States have a free trade agreement. There's none of this tariff stuff, and obviously we don't know what's going to happen with tariffs with China. Looks like, you know, they're gearing up to go back to maybe even 25%. Tariff, which will destroy this dream of $45,000 Byton. Now, even with the harshest tariff, the Byton's going to still be a pretty cheap, but nevertheless, $45,000, just such a great car. And this is before the incentives, right? So this is a great deal. Now, there's a little bit of a drama here going on, and this is something their former CEO, Karsten Breinfeld, mentioned as he was headlining a media day at the Faraday Future, where he's the new CEO. So let me tell you about that. Of course, a quick reminder that the sponsor of this video and this channel is Byton, and as we've been talking about this SUV, the reservation line is still growing. Over 50,000 people reserve one. $45,000 entry price is going to be before the incentives, 45,000 euros in Europe. So $0 to reserve this one, and it's only about, I don't know, 60 seconds of your time. So if you haven't for some reason reserved your Byton yet, go to the description of this video and reserve it today. All right, now so here comes some drama, right? So what is it? Last week, when I've attended the Faraday Future media event, I woke up next day to the article from The Verge, where Karsten, the former Byton CEO, as you remember, and current Faraday Future CEO, made some, you know, kind of rough comments, to put it politely, and I was surprised. So I did reach out to him. I said, Karsten, you know, what's going on? And he said, you know, he wasn't very happy with this because he believes it was taken out of context. I said, look, okay, what can I share with my audience as far as what your stand on this is? So I'll read you his text to me that he was okay with me sharing it with you guys. So he basically said that I like China and I appreciate the way Chinese government is driving this industry. FAW, that's one of the Byton investors, added a lot of value to Byton, and I want Byton to succeed. If a state-owned entity comes in as an investor, then the direction of a company might change. I eventually could not agree with this new direction. So, you know, this is essentially what he's saying, is that he left Byton because he thought that, you know, Chinese government might have been too much into the you know, Byton's business, if you will, and I'm assuming he's kind of suggesting that, you know, the politics might be overtaking the business part of it. Now, fair enough, but at the same time, FAW doesn't really own that much part of Byton. I believe they only have one a seat on the board. So and overall, you know, as you can see, they have quite a few outside investors, including this one from South Korea. But nevertheless, you know, this was a concern as far as, you know, this kind of a Chinese owned company that he thought Byton might be becoming. Well, this is good news for that concern, and obviously for the concern of tariffs. And you know, a lot of people absolutely are in love with this car, including myself, and more people kind of realize it, the more people get into it and at the shows and see this amazing screen. I know people think that it's too high and bright, but it's actually just the pictures. When you sit down there, you almost feel like it's too low, and it's obviously not as bright. But anyway, and don't forget, I just test drove this car. I was one of the first journalists, definitely the first social media influencer who test drove this car. I fell in love with it even more. I absolutely love the way it handles. I love how like luxurious of a ride it is, but at the same time how you can drift and do all other cool stuff, and there's a lot of power. You can see that video on my channel. I believe it's featured video right now. It is a featured video right now. So I'm excited about Byton, but the fact that they just did this not only tells me they're definitely going to be coming to the US, even a few months later than I wanted to, but also they figured out how to make sure that the price stays low. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think, because this is a big deal, and I think a lot of people getting really excited because stuff that's made in China is just as good nowadays, if not better. I mean, just look at your iPhone or whatever you have, and quite a few other products. And don't forget, this car is engineered in Germany, and software, a lot of it is designed in Silicon Valley, so it is a global brand as far as I'm concerned. But you be the judge. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our VIP list, which is a newsletter we send out every Saturday, but it's essentially a bonus story. And there's so many stories, especially this week, that we just couldn't fit in into this YouTube channel or even on the e4electric.com website. So we just sent it out to you. This one is about, Volvo and announcing their electric cars. And by the way, Mazda is another story. So boom, we're going to send it all out. Go to e4electric.com/VIP. That link is also in the description of this video. All right, looking forward to your comments. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.